everyone, and welcome to Sitso Africa. Here in Sitso Africa, we tell you all the school would never tell you about, Africa and our young people and the older ones, just our history and culture and everything. So we are all about exploring African culture, African history, and African heritage and success. And just to know what are these things that make us unique as Africans, make us beautiful as Africans. And today we want to explore one of our very good success stories. And we would say success is not the destination, it's not the end, it is the journey. So this young man here is still in his journey. He's on the journey of success, but again, he is successful because, like we said, success is not about the destination. So we'd like to hear more about Nicholas. Nicholas is a poet, an author, a writer. He's a leader, an Africanist, and a very good friend of mine. So today he's actually our first interview on the show. And we just want to explore more about him, get to know him. You never know, his story might be that one thing, or just that one word he would say from his story might be that thing that gives you motivation to pick up something that you started or start something that you have been dreaming of. So, Nicholas, welcome to Sitso Africa. We're very happy that you're here. Okay, so tell us, who is Nicholas? Who are you?
So, yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Mabila. It's a pleasure to be here. Nicholas is a young, ambitious African, and I'll start with my background. I'm from Ghana, specifically in Afro region. I'm doing pharmacy at USIU Africa currently. I'm in my fourth year, and I just published my book, as Emily said, and the title is Library of Poetic Heritage. So I would like to use these lines to introduce myself. So I am a voice with 10 fingers and 10 toes. I am an old spiritual soul in a young mortal globe. And my community's wildest dreams and the change I want to see. And my dream come true. I am driven by purpose. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's basically who Nicholas.
That is who Nicholas is.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, a poet.
Yeah.
It makes sense that you are giving us a poetic introduction, and I feel like that has just told us so much about him in like a snippet. Like I went from okay, then I went from because like it was just speaking to different emotions and different aspects of him and how he connects to the people around him and his community, and that's so awesome. So you're a poet, and that's where we're going to take from, right? So why poetry? Why do you love poetry? Why didn't you maybe venture into other forms of literature or other forms of industries like music or something? Why literature specifically?
So I chose poetry because I believe it is the basis of literature. Poetry is found in every literary work we see, whether it's a song, whether it's uh, a story, whether it's a novel, you see poetry in all of them. So I decided to start with the basis of the foundation because in future I would like to go into other aspects of literature.
And you feel like poetry is the basic, the foundation of all that. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I chose poetry. Yeah.
And what does it mean to you? What does poetry mean to you? Like, what do you feel about poetry? How does it? What is it? What is it that it is for you?
So poetry is I can't use words to describe it because it's beyond description.
Yes.
But I can say it is a soul that feels every vessel available to be filled by it. And it is a song that transcends language barrier. And also, I think, as I said, that it is the basis, the foundation of literature. So that's what poetry is.
Thank you so much. Well, this guy is saying things that he said is the vessel of I don't know what. I hope you are understanding. And Nicholas, I would just want you to tell us about your writing journey. You didn't just wake up and I want to write a book. Like there is a story behind it. What motivates you to write? Like first of all, when did you start writing? How did you start writing? Why do you write? And what's your inspiration? And what are the visions that you have for writing? Where do you want to see yourself?
So yeah, as you said, I didn't just wake up one day and chose to be a writer.
Yeah.
So I started writing when I was 13 years old. Yeah, I was in high school at the time. So it came as a result of homework given to us by our English teacher. So she told us we should go and write poetry. I went back home and I tried to put a few things together. I also asked my mom. My mom used to write as well. Yeah.
Shout out to your mom. Talk about her a bit. Her name, something.
Oh, okay. My mom is called Mary Amessouwoe. Yeah, she's the best mom ever. Because
And you always say her sister is the best. Nicholas always say her mom sister is the best in the world. Like you can't argue with him on that.
yeah. My mom sister is the best. She's the number one.
I agree.
So I told her to help me, because she's more experienced and all that. But after that, I realized it was not what I wanted to put out there. So
Her path is different from yours.
yeah, so I decided to write it myself. So I remember I put a few words together. I can still remember my first poetry.
Whoa.
Yeah, dark, dark, dark. The nature is dark. Let's get light.
Okay.
Let there be light. Fight against dark. Dark, dark, dark. The place of sleep. Because of dark, the nature is cold. Dark, dark, dark.
Okay.
The power of the night. Let's get light to have peace night.
And that was when you were 13.
Yeah.
Oh, it does sound like a rhyme, like a school rhyme, that kind of nursery songs.
For sure.
Wow, it's nice.
So I put that thing together. I went to school the next day, and my English teacher read it. She was like, "This is good,"
Yeah.
because I was just barely 13 at the time. So she said, "You have a talent, pursue it," and I think without those words, I couldn't get right now. Yeah.
So like what she told you like made you believe in yourself. I think there's a thing about being motivated by what people tell you because often when sometimes you might feel like you can do something but you're not very convinced and we judge ourselves a lot, we self introspect a lot, and you might feel like maybe it's not that good, but if you get someone telling you that you are good, you can do this, you are meant for this, you'll be like, oh, okay, then I can do it. And shout outs to Nicholas's English teacher. What was her name?
Madam Kwashi Winifred.
She has your name. One of your names, Kwashi.
Yeah, it's similar.
It's similar. It's not the same spelling.
Yeah,
Oh! I almost thought it was the same. I was like, this is destined name. Okay, but thank her so much. It's because of her. She's one of the reasons why Nicholas, took up his writing journey, and it's an awesome writer today, and it's going to be way, way, way bigger, like in the future. So thank you so much, Nicholas. Thank you to your English teacher. And I want to move on from there to this is your second book, the Library of Poetic Heritage. This is your second book. I want to know, first of all, the first book you published, what was it about and how did you write that book? When did you write it? When did you publish that? Then we can come to this book.
So the first poetry book, the title is Ramtin Poems. So I gave that title because I wanted to use that brand. I just wanted to unveil the brand, Ramjin.
What's Ramjin?
Okay. So Ramjin is just an acronym of the first letter of each name of my nuclear family. So R means Raisa, A is my father's name, Apollinaire. M means Mary. J, Joanna, I, then Nicholas is there. Oh. So I feel like.
So it's like your entire family. How many are you?
Yes, 6.
So your mom and dad, and you have
4 siblings.
4. Okay. Plus you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I am a family person, by the way. So anywhere I go, and they call Ramjin, I feel like my entire family.
Your entire family is with you. It's not just you they are calling.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the reason why.
And you said your mom has a shop and it's called Ramjin as well.
Yeah.
So this becomes like a family brand.
For sure.
Maybe one day when you open a pharmacy, you call it Ramjin Pharmacy. Okay. We are looking out for that. We are looking out. We are looking out for that. Look out for it.
So I gave Ramjin Poems to the first book as a title. And I published it immediately after my high school when I graduated in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't go to school immediately because I couldn't get the grade that they wanted for medicine.
So you wanted to do medicine.
Yeah, in Legon.
Okay.
So I was at home, I wasn't doing anything, and I realized I have a few, poems I've been writing for the
Put them
past
together.
6 years. So I just put them together. Then, yeah, it was a success. I sold like 50 copies. Yeah.
That's wonderful for your first book.
For sure, yeah, it was amazing.
Okay, so you went from Ramjam Points, and I want to know, you said you started writing when you were 13, but I know you, and I know you were not born in Ghana. Were you born in Ghana? You were born in Ghana, but you didn't grow up in Ghana.
Yeah.
So you knew how to speak French at some point.
Yeah.
So we want to know, like, how did you transition from how old were you when you moved from Ghana to Togo?
I was barely 3.
You were like
About
3, 4, so you could speak, but not like you were not like matured sensibly. And then you went to Togo, so you were studying in Togo, and then you were learning French in Togo. You were studying in French, you were speaking in French, and then when did you go to Ghana?
So we got back in 2013.
We went back to Ghana in 2013.
Yeah.
So how did you transition from speaking French to English? Were you speaking French? Were you speaking English in Togo, or you had to learn English when you got to Ghana? And how did that work out? And how did you become a writer if you know?
So yeah, it's an interesting story.
Okay.
Yeah, I was giving birth in Ghana. Then because my father used to work in Togo, due to the convenience, we went back to Togo to be with him. So in 2013, we decided to come back to Ghana. And I actually did my primary education and high school in Togo, part of high school in Togo before we moved to Ghana. And my place is called Aplau. So when you move back, Aplau has a very close similarity to Togo. Okay?
Yeah.
So you speak basically a similar language called Ewe, yeah.
Mhm.
So in Ghana, 2013, I couldn't actually speak English. I was a pure Francophone. Yeah.
Wow.
So I started learning English. My mom can speak English.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Yeah.
Because she was already in Ghana before you guys went to Togo.
Exactly. Then my dad couldn't speak English that much. Yeah. So it was a bilingual home that I grew up in. Yeah. So when I came back to Ghana. I have to like learn more, the English language. I have to adapt to the environment. It was hectic, yeah, because I have to also those like 2 classes. They said I couldn't continue as a Form 3 student, so I have to go back to Form 1, start all over. But luckily, I graduated as the top student. And not even that, I got A in English and also.
Whoa, you got it in English.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give a giveaway. Me, I was born and bred in Ghana. I spoke English from, I don't know, when I started going to school, but I got a B. I got a B plus in English for real. I got a B in English. And you got an A in English.
That's their BEC.
Wow.
Yeah.
Obviously I got an A in English, but in high school I didn't get an A in what's in nah.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's coming from someone who, so by when you were 13, no, but in 2013 you didn't know English at all, and in 2019, which is like 6 years later, you published a book in English.
Yeah.
And it's not just you wrote like just writing exam. This is like poetry. You have to know a language enough to express yourself in it, to be able to tell a story that is going to capture someone's attention. Because poetry goes beyond just language. It's about expressing your feelings, what you see, your imaginations in words, and you have to know enough words and understand a language enough to do that. So kudos, Nicholas. Like I'm really inspired by you when you say that, because me, I speak my local language, Fafra, and I speak English, and I've never been able to learn any other language. Like I've been here in Kenya for like almost 4 years, and I just know Sasa, Karibu, in Swahili. Like I don't know any other thing, and I'm like, why can't I learn? So it's really impressive that you could just transition like that and also become like a core writer in a language that you didn't know up to like you were like a young person already. So That's awesome. And moving forward, I just want to know, like, with your experience publishing the previous book and now this book, Library of Poetic Heritage, you told us why you chose the other book, the title and everything. So what inspired the title of this book, like Library of Poetic Heritage? What inspired, and I know this book has 4 sections. What inspired the sections? You can talk about the sections, what inspired those sections, why the title, everything. Why this book? Why publish it now? Why did you want to write again? I mean, you're doing pharmacy and you are writing. How is that for you? How are you balancing all these things?
So the title of this book is actually, it came as a shock to me. Yeah, because I came up with this title in a pharmacy class.
Oh,
Yeah,
the pharmacy class, you're thinking of literature.
I think that was biotechnology class. Yeah. So the lecturer was teaching about genetic libraries or something. So I was like, yeah,
Genetic libraries.
library, like
You captured that.
I captured library and I have poetry. So I was also looking at the African context. So heritage, yeah. That's how come I blended
If there's a genetic library, there could be a poetic library, and it's a poetic library of African heritage.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
So
Okay.
that's how come I came up with the title. Which other question?
Oh, I was asking about the sections of the book.
Oh yeah. So the book has 4 sections, as you said, and a part for quote and thought. So the first session is about spirituality. Obviously, it's inspired by God Himself. I believe God is the greatest poet.
You're a Christian.
I'm a Catholic.
A Catholic.
I'm a Catholic. Yeah. So I believe God is the greatest poet.
Nick, by the way, this guy always posts on his status, like almost every day. He wake up, put on his status, God is the greatest. Remember, like every day you have to tell us God is the greatest. But when he says God is the greatest, that's to the extent he takes this. He means business.
Yeah. So I decided to start with God because He started everything. He started myself as a human being. To start my poems, I decided to give a accolade. So 7 poems were dedicated to God. Okay. And number 7 also is symbolic.
Oh, the whole creation thingy, the 7th day. Okay.
Yeah, so I did it on purpose. And the second one is about spiritual inspiration and motivation. Uh-huh. And it's about myself and other people around me, how they inspired me and also how they motivate me. Okay. Yeah, and the third one is about love, which is the center of the book.
He says it's for those who love love. Yeah. If you love love.
So I put love at the center because even though God is the greatest, God is love.
God is it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
God
That book is like all entangled in it's the ball.
So I decided to put love at the center because I believe love is at the center of humanity. God created us with love, so I put it at the center of the book. It was inspired by God Himself and other stories about myself, about my background, about people that I live with. Yeah. Especially my sister and her husband, and my mom and my father. Yeah. They inspired me to be a great man. Yeah, and I believe I'll be a good father. Yeah.
I really love it when I hear people talking of how they grew up in like healthy relationship homes and they want to have that kind of relationships when they grow up. I mean, like in the future when they have their partners. Because it's really important. Some people didn't have the advantage of growing up in like a home where you find your mom and dad like being affectionate and caring for each other. So you are very lucky. You're like, I'm happy for you that you had that. And maybe that's probably one of the reasons why your sister's relationship is also remarkable because she grew up in that kind of environment and she wanted something like that and she went for it. She was intentional about it. And I know you're very intentional about that because you keep saying it. You tell me that, you love how your parents are and you want to have that kind of home. And that's something I take from you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the fourth one is about African heritage, our history, our culture, and social matters. Yeah, all it.
I told you this guy is an Africanist.
Yeah, so I think that's basically the book.
Okay, so this is the book. Let's take a look. So, by the way, this book, I don't know, I've never seen this before. His book was the first time I saw this. Like, this book literally has a box. So this is a box. Words heal hearts. I would like you to talk about why this, and also the Einstein of literature. So this young man calls himself the Einstein of literature. Okay, we will get to know why, and so many other names. The goats, Namjin, SPC. We want. So this is the book. This is the box, and it's like a two box. There's a pen, and the book. I love the cover because just this thing is kind of double layered. I feel like I would be reading and be writing like some points here, and it has a lot of space for that. And this is it. He personally signed the book for me, so this is my first book being signed by the author himself, and I'm so happy. So this is my name, blah 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 blah, and this book is it's awesome. Like, and he also have a thank you note. Okay, let me remove that. This is a thank you note. When you get his book, he's gonna write this for you and say thank you, and I really appreciate it, Nicholas. Thank you so much. So now, tell us about why do you call yourself the Einstein of literature? What is Ramjin SPC? You told us the meaning of what Ramjin stands for. What of the SPC? What is the other name? That's it. The goat, I think.
Yeah. I have a lot of names.
So tell us about those names, how they come about, and
so I'll start with Ramjin SPC. Mm-hmm. So I explained Ramjin earlier. SPC is basically the values, I want to be known for. Simplicity, patience, and compassion.
Simplicity, patience, compassion. Yeah. You want to be simple, patient, and compassion. Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So those are the three things I like to be known for. Yeah. And the Einstein of literature is an interesting name. Okay, I believe Einstein is one of the greatest scientists ever
of all time.
Yeah. And I'm a science student equally. I'm an art student, so I decided to do both. And I know in literature, Shakespeare is the greatest. They claim he is. Maybe, he is.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do what Einstein did in science. I wanted to do the same thing in literature.
In literature, okay.
So I didn't want to be redundant. So I didn't want to use Shakespeare.
There's already Shakespeare in literature.
Exactly. So I just use Einstein as the greatest in literature. Now, I mean in science. Now in literature. Yeah.
So that speaks to who you want to be in the future. Exactly. You want to be this great person in the world of literature.
Yeah.
Okay. And please tell us about words heal hearts.
Yeah, it's just it explains itself.
It explains itself basically. Yeah.
I believe words can really heal hearts. Maybe someone is down, someone is going through a lot of things, and you can just speak life into that person, and they pick up from there. I believe words can heal hearts, or words can heal, as drugs also heal in pharmacy. So I wanted to use both drugs and also words to make humanity healthy.
It's interesting because, like, your perspective, you have the art part of you, and then you've sort of been able to blend your science part into your literature. So it's very interesting that you speak art, but also with a science perspective, and that's so unique. And I want to know, but how does this work for you? The fact that you are a pharmacy student, this is a loaded course. I mean, this same university with you, and I know it's a loaded course. How did you manage to write? It's a 100-page book.
130.
A 130-page book. This is your fourth year in university, and you have one more year, right? So how did you manage to write a 130 poetry book while juggling pharmacy? How did that work? What are the challenges that you face in the process?
It's not easy to write. Yeah, that's like it's a fact, writing is tough. Yeah. But I started writing 3 years ago, I think. So this book took me almost 3 years to complete.
I remember because even when we met here in school, he told me, Evan, I'm gonna publish a book before I leave the school.
Yeah,
and you did.
Yeah.
You delivered.
I delivered. I walked the talk. Yeah. So it has not been an easy journey because pharmacy is loaded, as you said. But I believe if you have passion for something, it drives you. Passion pulls you to accomplish your goal, your purpose. So it was not easy, but I had to do it because I believe I can't deny the world is beauty.
We can't not hear from the other side of literature. So you'd have to pull those nighters.
Yeah.
Okay. It's inspiring that you were able to do it because sometimes I feel like we often have so many excuses. We often say, I'm too busy, I'm in school, I'm still young, I don't have money, there's no one to help me. But you did it. And even publishing, like this inspires us that, regardless of whatever excuses you have, if you really want to do something, put your mind to it and do it. And that's why I want to know about publishing. There would have been challenges in publishing, like financial resources, which companies even reach out to, the process, how tedious it is, and how did you navigate that? And maybe what kind of advice can you give to other young people who want to be writers but are thinking of, can I really do it? Can I publish my book? How will I publish it? What did you go through and how did you manage that?
Yeah, publishing is quite a lot, especially when you are an upcoming writer like me. So I wanted to work with a top brand, and for me, I'm someone that wants to work with the best.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was going through the internet and I checked top 5, publishers in Kenya.
Okay.
I saw Story Moja, I saw Longhorn publishers, I saw East African publishers. I think Longhorn was number 2, East African was number 1. So I reached out to all those.
The top 5.
The top 5. And I got feedback from East African, but they referred me to another publisher. And I was like, come on.
I knew why I approached you. It's not like I can't find other publishers.
Exactly. I was like, come on. I wanted to work with you, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I didn't take it in bad faith. So I waited. Longhorn replied later, and they were quite nice. They said, cool, they wanted to work with me. I should send a manuscript. So I did, and they got back to me a few days later. They said, yeah, it's cool. They can publish it. And the publishing process was not easy, especially financially. I had to actually started saving since last year because I knew this year I was going to publish. Yeah. So I saved quite a lot. I also did a few reach outs to my friends, family. Yeah, and they were really helpful in this process.
And you did a fundraiser, like this shirt.
Yeah.
So Nicholas printed t-shirts and then he would sell these t-shirts and we got them because we wanted to support him. So you can see here it's written Ramjin SPC. And at the back was the cover of the book. So can you see?
The initial cover.
Yes, the initial cover of the book. So I really love the idea where like you put a lot of effort into this. Like you saved, you did fundraising, you reached out to family members, and you made sure that it happened. And I just want to say sometimes we have excuses, but can we try to do one or two things? If it didn't work, at least you'd have known that you tried. But you wouldn't have just sat down and said, I don't have money, I don't think I can publish a book, So we should be more, as African youth, I feel like we sometimes have so many excuses about how the continent doesn't have enough resources, how there is not support, how the governments are not helping us. All that is true. I'm not saying it's not true. All that is true. But with all that, what can we do? I mean, the old saying keeps like, when life gives you lemons, just make lemonades. Like, if life puts you in a resource constrained environment, try from that. Like make whatever you can make with the little resources that you have, because that is the only way we can make things different. If you refuse to write because you don't have enough resources, then you would never become a writer, and then you would never develop, you would never become a better person. But the fact that you try to publish your second book and your first book and all that, you grow, and very soon you become a big writer. And if you never started because you didn't have the resources, then you would never have the resources in your life, you see. So Nicholas, your journey and your story is inspiring, and I just want to say, maybe tell us, the young people in Africa, or before that, tell us about the African market, as we're on the topic, the African market, about literature, and how do you see the African market? Where do you think we could be, and what do you think we could do better? How do you feel about it?
The African market is not bad. Yeah, it's out there. I know it's already big. Great writers from Africa, But at the end of the day, the young ones coming up don't really have that support. They don't have that platform to expose themselves. So I feel like we have a long way to go as well as young African writers. And the plan I have is to establish this platform like a publishing house to support young writers like me, so that they don't go through all these hassle to just make their stories heard, because we have great storylines.
A lot of them. Okay, so maybe talk more on that. So, what are your future plans? You've mentioned one of them, which is you want to open you said a what?
A publishing
house. Yeah. So, how is that going to be? Subsidized publishing house or free? And what are just your future plans when it comes to literature, and you as a poet, as an author? Where do you see yourself maybe in the next 10 years? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do?
So yeah, talking about the publishing house, I think I wanted to work with any writer at all who is willing to work with me. They'll come publish for free. Then if they're out there, they are doing good, then we can maybe see about how
they can give back. They can give back. Okay. So it's going to be like an NGO that supports young writers, and then they can give back to their community as they make money from it as well.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. That's the main thing I want to do. And see myself in the next 10 years. My my purpose is to become the Einstein of literature. So yeah.
They say goals are important. The fact that you have that goal, it means it's halfway achieved.
I'm touching it, and in my lifetime, you hear from me.
Okay, we'll hear from him. Maybe in the future, we would hear from him also in this channel. Again, we're looking forward to that. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we will keep ourselves updated. And so, just maybe last thing I would want you to talk to us about. What is your advice to young African and Ghanaian, because you're from Ghana, young Ghanaian writers and poets? What is the advice you would give them? What do you think are the lessons that you learned throughout your writing journey that you think can be helpful to them, and what are just your words and advice to us?
So when I started writing, I had so many, discouraging words. People tell you this is not how they write poems, tell you this is not poetry, you are doing your own thing. But I feel like you have to find your own style. You don't have to go the conventional. You have to be unique, and this me. I write the way I write, and without that perseverance or the willingness to do whatever I want to do, despite all the discouraging words, I couldn't have been here. So you just go your way, find your niche, and thrive in it. Yeah.
And it's very inspirational that you did this, because I also write, but I've never felt I could publish a book. I mean, I thought of it some time ago, especially when I was in high school. You didn't have a phone, you don't have Netflix, you don't have nothing. All you can do is write. Right after that, there's just so much distraction that you sometimes sitting down, quiet, commit time to writing. It's a lot of things to do. It takes a lot of, a lot of zeal, a lot of determination to do that. And so I really like the fact that he spoke of being determined to do all that, even regardless of what other people will tell you. Because I mean, you won't start writing and you'll be the best writer. So it's understandable that your first pieces will not be the best. But I feel like, we shouldn't be this kind of people that sort of shove people's dreams. Like, don't tell a young kid that, oh, this is not how you write literature, you're doing your own thing. Tell them that, okay, you really did well, this is good, but I think you could do this and this and this. You could do it differently this way. I think you could add this. I think you could remove this. I think, advising the person and encouraging them as opposed to like making them feel like, you're done, this is not for you. And I'm happy that regardless of all that, you took your journey and you went for it. So thank you so much for being with us here today. And before we go, if you have any last words, something that you want to tell us, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to appreciate you as well, yeah, for this opportunity.
Always.
I always tell people she's the greatest to ever hold the mic. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
According to Nicholas.
I like to tell anyone watching me right now to find their purpose, because we are on this earth for a purpose.
Mhm.
So when you find that purpose, try to go all out for it, because you only have one life and you have to make it right. Yeah.
You only have one life and you have to make it right. It's not like you have other chances. That's what I'm living here with. You only have one life and you have to make it right. You can make mistakes in the process, but the final thing has to be the right thing you want to do, because it's not like this is a trial. Be like, okay, next time I'll do it. We don't have second lives. I mean, some people believe in second lives, but if this was my second life, then I don't know this. I had a first life, then there's no second life basically. So we only live once, and you have to do it right. That's the final message. Nicholas Sitso Amessouwoe Kwashi.
Yeah.
It's living a lot of difficult names is living with us today. So thank you guys so much for watching, and look out always on Sitso Africa. We're going to continue presenting you wonderful stories like Nicholas. He inspired me, and I hope you got some inspiration, some one or two things that you can take with you. And always remember to like our videos, comment, support us, subscribe, and share our videos with your friends. Thank you so much, and catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you.